Tomorrow is Global Recycling Day. Maybe it's time to do something with that old cell phone. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from MCE, a company that works with some leading mobile carriers in device lifecycle management, is President Robert Hackl. Nice to see you, Robert.
Yeah, nice to see you, Fred.
Tell us a little bit to get started about MCE.
Yeah, MCE is a fascinating technology company who helps actually operators to improve their device lifecycle management practices. So in other words, to make it very simple, you as an operator, sometimes you outsource all those headaches to other people. We try to make that and transform those headaches into customer delight and a competitive advantage for operators.
So how are some of the ways in which you do that?
I think one of the top ways, and let's get right into it, is that when we look in America, there is 40% who have never traded in a phone. And some of them are really not happy with how the trade-in works, and some of them even don't really know. And we help with something which is really easy. We put technology into the consumer's hands so that they can actually assess and get a price guarantee for the phone and make trade-in much easier. So all of those handsets which are in drawers in the US no longer are in the drawer, but make money for consumers.
Is there an estimate of how many cell phones are in drawers and in closets, etc.?
Of course we do. There is $550 million handsets in the drawers of US consumers. And if you assess a handset, let's say around $200, some of them are worth, of course, much more, but on average, you're talking about a $100 billion opportunity, which can be monetized. So the consumer can get a better phone or can get a better rate plan, leveraging, for example, a 5G data to the fullest extent for them.
Well, what happens to mobile devices when they're traded in?
It depends on their condition, right? With our technology, we can assess whether this handset is as good, so that it has no scratches, it looks like new, so you can buff it, rekit it, and give it another life with another consumer. American consumers, especially who don't want to spend too much money on their handset, they love to have a second life iPhone or a second life Samsung Galaxy. And so the best phones, they will be they come back into the cycle to offer second life for these consumers. And those are usually 10 to 20% of the phones. Then there's another portion of phones who we call them grade B or C. So they maybe have some scratches. They're not perfect. They can be refurbished. So you can actually just update some of those little things. And then you can also give them back to the consumer and extend the life of those phones. And then there is grades which are not as good, and you auction them off worldwide, and there still will be some consumers worldwide who want those handsets, or they will take the parts of it, because what you don't want is that those handsets just land somewhere in a dumpster and you don't use all the valuable parts in it.
Well, what do you say to people who might be worried? You said 40% of people have never traded in a phone. And maybe they're worried to some extent, some of them anyway, about security. Even maybe they don't trust wiping the phone or resetting it. So what do you have to say to them?
First of all, trading is not a customer journey, right? The consumer doesn't wake up in the morning and say, I want to do a trade-in. They wake up in the morning and what do they say? I want a better phone, or I have broken my phone, I want to replace my phone. So I think this is the step one to acknowledge. And why I'm saying this, because the consumer has 3 or 4 expectations which are not 100% met today. First, they want to have a guaranteed and a fair price. And why do they want that? Because 80% of the consumers want to have a better phone, and 70% of the consumers do want to have a better rate plan. Second, and you mentioned that, and that's a great point, they would say, hey, manage my data with care. Nearly 80% of the consumers expect a content transfer, so that despite all the tools Apple and Samsung have, they want somebody who makes sure that all the content is transferred. And 70% of the consumers expect that you certify that everything is wiped. So no pictures of your family and friends can be found if the handset is used again. There's two more points which are important. First, for the existing consumer, the way trading works today is too slow and it's too complicated. 95% of the people who actually do a trade-in, for them it takes more than 5 minutes. With today's technology, you can do that much faster. So the consumers who haven't traded it in, they want that you speed it up, so less than 3 minutes, and 70% expect that. And you make it really easy, another 70% expect that, so that you don't have to do a lot of things and don't ask consumers silly questions. The technology can answer for you. For example, if you put in the IMEI, kind of the identifier for the handset, you don't have to ask for the handset type, the memory, and so on, because you know all that, right, based on that. And last but not least, consumers, especially after COVID, want that they can start at home, have somebody in the call center really help them, and then go to a retail store and finish it with an upgrade. So we call that true omni-channel, and it should be all connected and easy for the consumers. So there's no waste of time and rework for anybody concerned.
So you're working through carriers, et cetera, their stores or other mobile stores, or how can people?
So our primary audience, or our primary clients, are operators and retail organizations. So what we provide as MCE is three things. First, we provide the technology, but we are in the back, right? It's all branded in the operator's name. For example, we do this for Vodafone UK, we do it for many others worldwide. And so it will be branded how the carrier wants it. And we have a lot of experience of really creating a customer journey, which for the consumer, for example, here's the upgrade to a better phone or the replacement of a phone, which not only creates better customer experience, but also creates better margins for the operator because the customer is much happier. And last but not least, this company has been there for nearly 20 years. They have a lot of integration experience, and operators, they struggle sometimes with a lot of different systems, which are in the way of innovation for the consumers. And we enable them really to bring it all together and be the glue and help IT departments to get those things done much more quickly than normal.
For people who might have several phones, maybe even more in a dresser or something, is there something they should do with those?
Actually, you should trade them all in, because phones at home, it's not a good use, right? Why would you want $100 billion at home when you can get a cheaper handset, a handset price, or a better rate plan for that money?
Terrific. For more info, is there a place people can go to learn more about it?
Of course, mce.systems, and we're happy to talk to you more. We also have a webinar which demonstrates those things. It's from Mobile World Live. You can also find that on the webpage, and of course we have the one or the other article on the topic also produced. You can also find that on the webpage.
Terrific. Robert Hackl, thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Of course, it was my pleasure.